your top 10 list for the Toastmasters with the sexiest legs. But most important, I would live in a world where I didn't break promises and commitments to myself. So I ordered that book, and it arrived. And I was excited, so I gave it a big, wet, juicy kiss. The book was an awful kisser. But I always remember what my mama used to tell me, don't judge a book by how well it kisses. This book was going to change my life. First thing tomorrow. Okay, that one day turned into a couple days, and a couple days turned into a couple weeks, weeks turned into months, months turned into a year, and 10 years had passed. And I still didn't read that book. And that book only became good at being one good thing, an expensive dust collector. It reminds me of the time I brought the book on how to improve my memory, and I couldn't remember where I put it. Or that book I bought on how to improve my awful vocabulary, but I dissect. I wasn't going to give up on myself because of Ricky's stupid advice. I continued to search for knowledge, and after eating boxes and boxes of fortune cookies, I obtained an enormous amount of wisdom, a whole lot of lucky numbers, and a whole lot of pieces of paper, and I finally figured it out. If I really wanted to quit breaking promises to myself and commitments, all I had to do was quit making promises to myself and not hold myself accountable for anything. And Toastmasters, would you believe it? I haven't procrastinated on a single thing since. And even though I still get just as little done in my life, at least I can say I'm a little bit more positive about it now. Toastmaster.
Our next contestant, Wendy Yan. All talk of funny. All talk of funny, Wendy Yan.
Back to my old job, I always like to make a conversation with my co-worker about his smoking. And one day I told him, "You're sweating." And he got so confused and he asked me, "What do you mean?" And I pointed at his cigarette, said, "See, you're sweating." For a while, and he stood there, finally talked back to me, said, "You mean I'm smoking?" I feel so bad about my poor English. Learning English is very challenging as a second language for foreigners. I'm going to talk about the most common mistakes Chinese speakers like to make when they learn English. To identify and correct those problems will go a long way towards producing clear and more fluent speech. The first problem is pronunciation problems. This part of speech is very hard for Chinese speakers because there aren't separate propositions in Chinese Chinese language, like a he and she, him and her. So when we speak English, and we often forget to use the proper proposition, the proper pronouns in our conversations. So the more we try to correct them, the worse we get. I often say something like this to confuse others. I can't find Mrs. Smith. Do you know where he is? I gave Jason her phone. Did you see it? I talked to Mr. Smith and told him, your wife is a wonderful person. He always helps me cook whenever he has time. The second problem is improperly using propositions. This part for speech is especially hard for Chinese people because there isn't such a strong distinction between different propositions in Chinese language. So using which propositions does not matter to our speech. They have same meanings most of the time. I often make this type of mistakes in the past. I live next to airport, and many airplanes flying through my house. I'm so glad I have such big windows. I need a ride. May I get on your car? Oh, honey, I forgot my key. Would you please find it under the house? My husband always is able to find the key for me, but never correct my English. The third problem is mispronunciation the American words. Chinese people also have a hard time to distinguish American sounds. They often make errors in pronouncing words. Here's a story from my friend Bob. So there's two restaurants. One is a Chinese restaurant, another one is a Greek restaurant. A Greek worker liked to make fun of Chinese workers. One day he went to a Chinese restaurant and asked one of the Chinese workers, "Do you know what day is it today?" The Chinese worker said, "It is Friday, Friday." The Greek worker laughed and laughed. Next week, the Greek worker come back and to the Chinese restaurant asked the Chinese worker, "Do you know what day is it today?" "It is Friday, Friday." The Chinese worker replied. The Greek worker laughed and laughed. Then Chinese worker practiced pronouncing Friday, Friday over and over. 1 week later, the Greek worker came back and asked the Chinese worker, "Do you know what day is it today?" The Chinese worker said, "It is Friday, you dumb Greek." There are many rules we have to learn. We have to learn them sentence by sentence, word by word, situation by situation. Learning English is very challenging for Chinese speakers. Thank you.
Our next contestant, Alexis Mason. Full circle, Alexis Mason.
My favorite uncle came to visit. He swung me around. He galloped me on his shoulders. Oh wait, I know what you're thinking. But I didn't. When my mommy put them on me, she said, "Now we want to keep these nice and dry, honey." My uncle put me down, and as I ran off to play, I heard him ask my mother, "Can she say her name yet?" And my mother said, "No, she can't." Alexis is not able to say Alexis yet. She doesn't have enough teeth. She calls herself a Wecky. I called myself a Wecky. All of my friends called me a Wecky. But no adult dare call me a Wecky. If they did, I would get as big as I possibly could. I would put on my mean face, and I would say, "My name not a Wecky. No, call me a Wecky. My name a Wecky." That wasn't very effective. But by the time we all went to school, we had enough teeth. I could say Alexis. All of my friends could say Alexis, and that worked beautifully for several years. Until along about 4th or 5th grade, my friends and I, needed nicknames. My girlfriends had great ideas for nicknames. One of my friends we called Peachy. Her name was Peggy, but we all called her Peachy. It was a wonderful nickname. Another one of my friends was Charlotte. We called her Chicky. I needed a nickname too. Peachy was taken. Chicky was taken. I needed a great nickname that would be just for me only. The idea came. I took off the A. I took off the S. I was Lexi. It was a wonderful name. It was a great nickname, but those mean boys, oh, they started calling me Sexy Lexi. It was not true. I was a tomboy, accent on boy. But they called me Sexy Lexi everywhere, at school, everywhere, except around my dad. No one wanted to say anything like that around my dad. So I was Sexy Lexi in private. My friends called me Lexi. Everything was sort of okay. Still not a true nickname for me until I was about 14 or 15, and then the universe blew in my little finger and blew me up. And I still didn't like hearing that nickname, but it lasted through high school and partway through college. And then I decided if I'm going to be a professional person, I need a professional sounding name. Put the S back, put the A back, and I was Alexis, which worked beautifully again for several years until a hotel opened in Portland called the Alexis Hotel. And those mean boys started up again. Say, did you go to Alexis the other night for a drink? No! How long were you there, Alexis, before you were in the bedroom? This is not funny. You need to be on my side here. This is not funny at all. All sorts of jokes about cocktails and bedrooms and valet service and all sorts of just mean boy stuff. Got really old really fast. And then, of course, the Alexis restaurant. So, I'm not going to go there. The hotel was bad enough. The restaurant was a little worse. But the worst of all was the automobile. Not Alexis, of course, until you say to somebody, "Where do you park Alexis?" "In the driveway." "You keep Alexis in the garage overnight?" "That's not funny either." "So where do you take Alexis to be serviced?" Har, har, har. None of this is funny. I'm just saying. Think how much worse it would have been if I'd gone to work for Alexis dealership. Dave comes to pick me up. He walks in, the salesman says, "Sir, can I help you?" Dave says, "Sure, I'm here to pick up Alexis." Salesman, "Woo-hoo." "Dave, can I just wait right here?" Salesman, "Sir, would you like to see Alexis?" Dave, "I'll just wait. I don't see one. I don't see her." Salesman, "Well, sir, we have some lovely ones right here on the showroom floor. Would you prefer a white one?" Dave, "Well, yes, I would." "So, sir, would you like to see the extra fancy spare tire? Would you like to talk about the spare tire?" "Okay. She'll kill me if I do." You can only imagine how difficult that conversation would have been. It would end, though, with Dave saying, "I think I'll wait in the car." This has gone on most of my life. Nicknames that were not appropriate, mockery of my lovely name. But I can only foresee the future a little ways. And I'm guessing, since some of my friends already have a lot of dental work and bridge work, that will probably happen to me too at some point. Someday, in the dim and distant future, I will probably say, "Nice to meet you. My name is Wendy."
Our final contestant, Ronda, Holdridge. Women are angels. Women are angels. Ronda, Holdridge.
It's a Monday. I am running long on to-do list and short on time. Fellow Toastmasters, women are angels. But when someone breaks our wings, we simply continue to fly. On a broomstick. We're flexible that way. It's 8 a.m. on Monday morning, and this angel has already had a rough day. I just want to get to my appointment at the salon. I'm in my car, waiting to pull out on the highway. I notice a man on a bike, dog running alongside. He's riding on the sidewalk. Being an overly courteous Oregon driver, I wait for him to pass. Little did I know, my feathers were about to be ruffled. As he approaches, he bellows, "Hey, move your car, you lazy bleep!" My angelic ears. In my mind, I'm reaching for my witch's hat as I pop the trunk. Now, what kind of witch would I be without a trunk monkey? My flying trunk monkey hands me my broomstick. I stick it in his front spokes. He flies over the handlebars and lands face down between the two white lines. I got you, my pretty. And your little dog, too. And you found bike lane. About that time, a honking horn behind me brings me back. It was just a daydream. A creepy good daydream. Luckily for him, I no longer live on Crazy Street. Trying desperately to get back my serenity as I'm pulling out on the highway. I know, maybe some serene classical music. Highway to hell. Not exactly what I was thinking. Although, I have always wondered, if there's a whole highway to hell, why is there only a stairway to heaven? I think it's because they were anticipating the traffic. Oh, I've got to calm down. I know. I'll call my daddy. I just love my hands-free Bluetooth. Please say your command. Call Dad. I'm sorry, I don't know who your father is. Now I feel like I'm on an episode of Jerry Springer called Who's Your Daddy? Technology can be a bit challenging. For example, just this morning, I sent a text to my husband. Major autocorrect blunder. Hey, hon, just wanted to let you know I licked the front door. Why? What do you mean, why? Because I was leaving. Duh. Man. Finally, I'm at my appointment. Just in time, too. I was about ready to lose my angelic glow. I have a nice, relaxing appointment to get my eyebrows waxed. I'm going to take a stab at it here. There's not a single man here that would consider getting anything waxed to be relaxing. But as I lie back on the table and close my eyes, the horrific events of the day just seem to slip away. That is, until my eyelids begin to melt from the boiling hot wax. She then rips off the wax along with the top layer of my skin. Can this day get any worse? Later that afternoon, it's obvious that my eyes are infected, and now I'm swollen clear down to my cheekbones. I look like I've been in a fight. I looked at my husband, or at least in his general direction. Honey, why do women do this to yourselves? So we could be pretty. Now we're off to the ER, just to find out 3.5 hours later that I have third-degree burns and staph infection. My inner angel is truly struggling at this point. While waiting at the pharmacy, I tally up what my awesome new eyebrows just cost me. $1,285.53 without the prescriptions. And they say you can't put a price on beauty. Although, I do believe in the old adage that beauty is only skin deep. Because once you remove the top layer, what's left is ugly. I've got to get a message to my beautician. I can't see, so I guess I'll use my talk-to-text function. Hey, Christine, we're going to need to go to plucking ore. It didn't say plucking ore. So there I stood at the corner of Angel Avenue and Beachy Way. What to do? I pushed send. Toastmasters, whatever you give a woman, she will make it greater. If you give her a smile, she'll give you her heart. If you give her a house, she'll make a home. She will multiply whatever you give her. So Toastmasters, just imagine what you would get in return if you were to give a woman, Mr. Contest Chair.
We'll now observe silence until all ballots have been collected.